Howdy everybody, welcome back to Marketing. Your old pal, Professor Martin here, as always coming to you from the headquarters in Wilmington, Ohio. We got a brand new topic we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be talking about in our video right now, the marketing research process. How do marketers get all that good information that they use against us as consumers to get us to buy their product? Before we jump into that, I want to take you back a little bit to a few years ago. There was a movie out called What Women Want. And this is the days before Hollywood decided that every movie had to be a superhero movie or a Star Wars sequel, okay? Mel Gibson, Helen Hunt, a blockbuster back in the day. And the premise of the movie was that Mel Gibson had acquired the ability to hear what women were thinking. And obviously, he could use that to woo women. But in the movie, Mel Gibson was actually an advertising executive. And so it was kind of like a superpower. Not only could he use his ability to hear what women were thinking to woo women, but he could also use it to sell women products. Man, what a great superpower. In fact, it's kind of a fun idea, and they've actually adapted that idea more recently with another movie flipping the coin and looking at it from the women's perspective. What if a woman could understand and hear what men were thinking? All right. And so marketers don't really have that luxury. They don't have the superpower to understand what people are thinking and hear what people are thinking without them saying it. In order to get that information, they actually have to, ask people. They have to do marketing research. And we call that the process of collecting and using information for marketing decision making. Basically trying to get information about what customers want and need. We just can't look at a customer and magically hear what they're thinking and then satisfy those needs. We got to go through a few hoops. We got to go through a process to get that information. We call that the marketing research process. And we have 6 kind of broad steps that we would go through as part of that process. 1, we define the problem that we're trying to seek an answer for. We conduct exploratory research, and then we'd formulate a hypothesis. Then we create a research program, design the research, we collect the data, and then we'd interpret the data. And so if we're trying to really understand what consumers think, what they really want, what they really need, we gotta have to do the work. We'd have to put in the work to research it. And that's kind of the process that would happen. And what I want to do is I want to go through the 6-step process here, step by step, using Wendy's as an example. It so happens that I'm a Wendy's advisor, and I don't say that braggingly. I'm not even sure how I got to be a part of that. It's probably just a random survey they sent out that I responded to. But basically, a Wendy's advisor is a person who fills out surveys for Wendy's. They'll send out surveys, once a week, twice a week, asking for input on maybe new product offerings, maybe the way that they're going to name a product, just all kinds of different stuff like that. And so I'll be hanging out the house, bing, my email will go off, and it'll be Wendy's, and I'll get to fill out a survey, give them my feedback. So what I want to do is I want to walk you through one of those surveys and kind of show you how that fits into our 6-step marketing research process. Here we go. You see, when I get a survey, it looks a little bit like that. Hello, your opinions and feedback mean a lot to us. We have a survey for you. Please fill it out. All right. And so the particular survey that I filled out here is dealing with a sauced up chicken nugget. And basically Wendy's version of a boneless chicken wing. And you think, well, why would they want to do that? Well, if you look at the fast food market, we have a lot of fast food places that are coming out with boneless chicken nuggets, boneless chicken wings. You got Arby's, 6-piece classic buffalo boneless wings that we can order up. Sonic has buffalo boneless wings. KFC has hot and spicy chicken wings. And so a lot of the competition is rolling out really convenient, easy to eat chicken wing products. Wendy's doesn't want to miss the boat. So we begin with step number 1. We define the problem. When we define the problem, it allows us to focus on gathering the exact information we need. And that helps us kind of set the parameters of what we're trying to figure out. So how would that look with Wendy's here? Wendy's might have said, do we need to expand our chicken menu to keep up with the competition or what the consumer wants? That's the problem. Do we need to expand our menu? All right, the more narrowly we can define the problem, the more better, the more accurate, the more relevant, that's the word I'm looking for, the more relevant information we can gather. Once we've defined the problem that we're up against, then we conduct our exploratory research. We're trying to gather background information on our problem. We may look external to the business, we may look internally, but we're trying to figure out and gather just some background information on the problem at hand. And so what would that look like for Wendy's? They might be trying to gather information on, is the fast food chicken market growing? Look at external sources. We can look at sales data. What is our share of the chicken market? Are we competitive in the fast food chicken market? What products in the market are experiencing growth or decline? Again, that might be something that we look externally. We look at sales data, maybe from competitors. We maybe look at industry trade data to figure out what chicken products are experiencing growth and which ones are experiencing a decline period. And finally, we may talk to customers. What are customers saying? What do they want in a chicken product? And are they satisfied with our current chicken offerings? And so we're just trying to gather some background information to help us further understand the problem of, do we need to expand our chicken menu? And so we're conducting that exploratory research. And then we formulate a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a tentative course of action or an explanation that we can test. I'll give you an example with Wendy's here. Consumers desire a convenient, easily consumable chicken item that comes in a variety of flavors. That is a course of action or a thing that we can test. And we kind of come from that hypothesis from our problem and from our exploratory research. We found out that consumers want something that they can quickly order and easily consume as they're driving and can kind of be a substitute for a chicken sandwich. That's what they're desiring. That's our hypothesis. We can test that, right? We can maybe do some test marketing in certain areas to see if our hypothesis is true. If consumers snap it up and really buy a lot of it, then we know we're onto something. If they don't, well, maybe we were wrong in our hypothesis. So, not all marketing research will generate or test a specific hypothesis. Okay, and to give you an example of that, Wendy's has a $5 biggie bag, don't they? You can give them $5, they'll give you a sandwich and chicken nuggets and fries and a drink for $5. It's a pretty good deal. Maybe they want to conduct marketing research to find out, do consumers have a favorable opinion of the biggie bag? There's no hypothesis there, really. We're not really testing a specific strategy or an idea. We're just trying to figure out whether or not consumers have a favorable opinion of that particular offering. Step 4, we would create research design, the plan for how we're going to conduct our marketing research. How are we going to get our data? What types of research are we going to conduct? Are we going to do a survey? Are we going to do a focus group where we bring in a group of consumers and sit down and ask them their opinion and get their feedback face to face in a panelist-led discussion? Are we going to maybe do some test marketing, try to maybe find a few limited areas where we can test out the product? What types of research are we going to conduct? And then we've got to decide who is going to be included in that research. What markets are we going to test? What customers are we going to survey? How are we going to pull people for the focus group? We got to design the plan. Then we execute the plan. And show you an example from Wendy's advisor survey here. I'm looking at these boneless wings or boneless nugs. Here's the survey that I got that they had designed and sent out. You see the first part here. Nothing better than a Wendy's chicken nugget. Perhaps when they're tossed in our new honey barbecue, garlic parmesan, buffalo, or spicy atomic sauces. Wendy's takes nuggets seriously, and these limited time flavors are the real deal. Here's a picture of the garlic parmesan sauce tossed chicken nuggets. As you can see, they're in a little tray there. It really just looks like chicken nuggets that have been regular chicken nuggets they put some kind of sauce on. Doesn't really look to me like anything special. So that was step 1 of the survey. They showed people what they're dealing with here. Thinking about the product description you read, pick a name. Number 1, the one name you most like, all the way down to number 5. And you can see how I've ranked the names. And you give us a whole bunch of names here. Personally, these are chicken nuggets. They don't seem to me to be boneless wings at all. And so I wanted to steer clear of any name that used the word boneless in it, because these are not boneless chicken wings like you would get at B-Dubs or Roosters or whatever. Plain old chicken nuggets tossed in a sauce. So all the names that I picked went along with that. That was my reasoning there. Okay, feedback on the names. Then Wendy's wants to kind of know what I think of that product. How does that idea of a boneless nugget or boneless sauced up wing, whatever you want to call it, make you feel about Wendy's? Does it make Wendy's seem more appealing? Less appealing? Or meh? For me, meh. Doesn't really move the needle for me. If Wendy's were to offer the nuggets, how would that impact your future visits? Would you go to Wendy's more often or less often or the same? Again, for me, it's kind of a meh. I would not make a special trip to Wendy's just to get a chicken nugget that they've thrown sauce on and dip it in my own sauce. And that's the next question. Would you make a special trip to Wendy's? No, I would not. So you can see they're kind of trying to gather data on how this would impact not only how I view Wendy's as a consumer, but also would it prompt me to go there more often or to go there at all? Thinking about the idea of a sauce nugget, would you expect to receive a dip cup? Well, sure. I always want to dip my nuggets into something, even if they're already pre-dipped. Which of the following would meet our expectations? I would expect ranch or blue cheese, or maybe both. So you can see they're trying to gather data on whether or not they should be offering this particular product. So then they send that out. Now they're collecting the data. When they put that survey out there, they're collecting primary data. Information collected for the first time specifically for that marketing study. Wendy's is gathering primary data specifically to see how consumers will react and feel about their sauced up chicken nuggets. In doing so, it's expensive. They have to create that survey. They have to send it out. They have to review all the data that comes back in. But the good thing is that's very specific data tailored to the question at hand. That's why primary data is so powerful, because we can really get to the heart of what we're trying to figure out. Secondary data is also an option. Secondary data is information from previously published or compiled sources. And maybe we're scouring the internet looking for studies that other people have done. Maybe we're looking at reports that have been published by marketing research firms that don't really specifically apply to what we're looking for, but may have some use in helping us determine whether or not to offer up sauced up nuggets. Cheaper, but it may not specifically address what we need. It may also be obsolete. The secondary data sometimes is published months or years before. It may not be relevant anymore. To give you an example, as I mentioned, the Wendy survey about the potential menu offering is an example of primary data that they're gathering. Secondary data, Circana is a market research firm. They published a report, Gen Z's favorite quick service restaurants, particularly fast casual restaurants. Fast casual, Applebee's, B-Dubs, Roosters, all those offer boneless wings. And so while that report may not have data specifically addressing our primary question, it could still be useful. Maybe we could find out that Gen Z really wants those type of maybe a little bit more upscale than fast food, but not quite big fancy dining experiences. Maybe they want that. And that can kind of give us some insight into that particular market. So secondary data has a place as well, along with primary data. Our final step, we interpret and we present the data. We interpret the findings, we create reports, whether it be oral or written or both, to whoever the decision makers are, and we present to them. And then we take whatever course of action that we need to take. 6 steps in the process of marketing researching, trying to figure out whether or not to execute a marketing campaign or offer a new product, whatever the case might be. Using Wendy's as an example. And so to show you again how maybe that data gets interpreted, going back to Wendy's here, a while back they had a mozzarella Italian chicken sandwich. It was actually pretty good. It had a garlic knot bun, a big old honkin' fried mozzarella, not really a stick, it was like a patty, fried mozzarella patty, and then your chicken down there and some tomato sauce on it. It was pretty good. But again, that was another thing they tested out to Wendy's advisory committee, surveys sent out to kind of get people's feedback on it. And you can see if some of the details here, but it says, summary, if Wendy's were to offer the sandwich, how would it impact your likelihood to visit? 52% said they would be somewhat or much more likely to visit to get that sandwich. And Wendy's saw that as a big plus, a big success. And so I don't know what exact number they're looking for in the surveys, but the fact that they would point that out as being a successful kind of question there tells me that maybe they're looking for more than 50%. And the fact that they offered that sandwich tells me that maybe 50% more likely to go is a good number for them. And so they're breaking that down and analyzing that data. 6 steps. You need to be familiar with all 6 and have an idea what goes on in all 6. One more Wendy's nugget for you from a recent advisory survey. Something to keep an eye out for at Wendy's. The Southern Spicy Chicken Sandwich. You can see it all starts with that spicy chicken filet, pepper jack cheese. They got some seasoned onions, a new spicy mustard sauce, pickles, lettuce, all on a premium toasted bun. Coming soon, perhaps, to a Wendy's near you, thanks to that marketing research process. As always, if you have any questions on what you've seen in the video or you're reading, I'd be happy to chat. Feel free to drop me a line and we will talk. I have one more video on marketing research. We'll look at secondary data using Nielsen TV ratings as our example. We'll fill out a survey that they sent me and see what kind of data that they're collecting to repackage and market to other businesses. Hope to see you back here for that. Until then, take care, everybody.